Yo, what's up, Socks? I gave you a quick little paint over, and I'm just gonna share my thoughts with you real quick, just to give you a better idea of what I'm trying to explain. So let's get started. So first thing I see with this, I think you did a great job with the feeling of the piece. Like the overall posing and camera angle feels pretty epic, so that's good. Although I think there's a major perspective issue with the face, and so that's what I initially try to do. I first liquefy it a little, and then I start painting on a separate layer, which I realized later, but I'll just let it play. Basically, I think in this angle, when we're looking up at the face, we'll see more of a curve in the top eyelid rather than the bottom. And then also the angle of the outer eye, it just looks different, so I would do more studies. The nose covers a lot of it, and also the perspective of the nose feels a little bit off to me, so I do a little quick adjustment there. And then once we change these features, we also need to align the mouth to the nose, which aligns to the eye. And then later on, we'll also change the perspective of the forehead a little bit. I just realized this, but I think I may have altered your design a little bit because I assume that the horns on his head sprouts from the hairline, but maybe you just meant to have it there. So do with that what you will. But besides that, I adjust the perspective of the forehead, mouth, quick repaint. I don't know if I fully agree with the drawing of the cheekbone here. Maybe for your character, you might want to do something like... So this is the paint over I ended up with, but maybe... Because I'm looking at this side of the cheekbone and it feels a lot more protruded. So I'd actually like push this out more, like so. Wait, why is it not? Huh? Oh, what's going on? Give me a sec. Okay, so apparently my pen isn't working, so I'm using my mouse right now. But yeah, you can push his cheekbones out more, just so that it symmetrically matches the other side of his face. And then get the eyes looking like they're looking in the same direction. I think the values underneath the chin, I mean, you can definitely have it more orange, but I think it was a little too dark was my initial feeling. The perspective, is it the perspective? There's something off about the neck. Yeah, I think it's the perspective. It felt like it was the way the tattoos were painted, it was kind of felt like the neck was facing more to the character's right. And also I wanted to improve the angle at which we're looking at his body. So in this angle, my first instinct is that what you had over here, this feels like we're looking a little too flat on. So if we're looking up at a object, right? So like if there was a cylinder, if we imagine that as a cylinder, the lower the camera is, the more of a curve it will look this way, right? If we're looking more straight on, it would be more flat, right? So in this case, because we're looking at the face already at such a low angle, the assumption here is that we're also going to look at the body to stay consistent, right? So that's kind of my thought process, at least, for why I chose to draw the body that way. I thought this area, the chest area, you could put more, I know you're not fully done, so maybe I'm just like giving unsolicited advice here, but I just felt like painting it. Yeah, gave him a little bit of cleavage, adjusted the perspective. I don't know if this was a part of the jacket, but I noticed that after I added this, it kind of felt like it gave him like a little bikini almost, or like it looked like he was wearing a bra. So I don't know, like maybe don't have the V cut here, I don't know. But yeah, I finished the necklace. Something we can do over here is push out the dark silhouette of the inside of his torso against the jacket, just so that we can separate the silhouette better. Obviously do this better than I did. I was just doing it really quickly to show you what I meant. Like, you can have like a subtle glow that's like value wise a little brighter than the dark part of his costume, and then over here we can darken his coat to the background even more, just to push out his silhouette even more. And then over here I also felt like, I know once again, like, your arm isn't exactly finished, but even then I felt like the pose was a little stiff. So just coming up with a couple of poses. Here's one, maybe he's holding like something, or his hand has like some demonic power. At least that's what it seems like you're indicating here. I also draw it like foreshortened or whatever. You can play with that maybe. For the horns or the sharp parts, I feel like you can maybe change up the shape size variation, because it does look a little bit too not I wouldn't say uninteresting, but like when there's too many similar shapes, people don't know which part is the main part. So I just added one big horn in the middle. You can I don't know, play around with it. And then finally, I think it would look more natural if his other arm was shown and doing something. You can really do whatever pose you want. That's just the pose I came up with. That's pretty much it. But also, one last thing, I would also just push the silhouette out more. Now, I don't like know the lore of like what character this is from, or like this is just an OC, but I would suggest to push the background out. Especially when you're doing character art, it's very important to have this character having the most contrast, and an easy way of achieving that is by pushing out the background. So let me just do this real quick. So like, we'll just use colors that you're using. In this case, this. There could be like some sort of fog. I feel like that would be really cool. This is giving like heavy Viego vibes. So I'm just assuming. But like even this, you'll notice it feels. Like this already makes the illustration pop so much, in my opinion. And maybe this pillar is closer, so we have this also kind of occludes some of the fog behind, right? But yeah, that's my feedback for your piece. I hope this was helpful. Before or after. I think this proportion of the proportion of the head also looks a little bit off. Let me just do one more adjustment. Maybe like this can be closer to where his ear is supposed to be. But then it's like he has a lot of like hair in the back, so it's hard to tell the volume of his actual head. Seems like it's like this. Just like a I would consider, I think perspective-wise, with the foreshortening that I added with the arm, it would make more sense if his head was bigger. Because it feels like I'm over-exaggerating, like, with the foreshortening we have right now, the size of the head should be bigger with that specific FOV. Okay, definitely not that big. Hold up. His neck also feels a little stiff now that Let me just merge everything together and do before and after. Yeah, I think this is definitely a lot better. These are my initial reads on it, so yeah, this is looking good, and good luck with your piece.